three presenters today. We've got Juliet Hart, who is past president of the New Jersey chapter, and she is also principal and founder of Hart and Chin. Rosemary Okoiti is a certified professional in talent development, and Karl Kapp is the founder and the consulting and game development firm, the Wisdom Learning Group. And so the three of them are going to be joining us today. And we're going to first turn it over to Rosemary. So Rosemary, take it away.
Nope, muted. Rosemary, you're on mute.
Thank you. I think Juliet begins before me, right?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for the introduction, Ken. We're really happy to have everyone on board today. We're so excited. Rosemary and I, if you didn't know, we're more used to the in-person facilitation. So this was really a testing out situation for us to figure out how we can do this ourselves. So really, we hope this is a learning experience for us, and you can translate it to yourself as well if you're figuring out how to do transition from in-person to virtual. But we also have this bonus that we have Karl, who's amazing, and we'll have a really exciting webinar today. So we're starting off with something super basic. There's a million polling options out there, but today we're going to try to learn how to use the Zoom annotate feature. So if you look on the screen, can everyone see the screen? It says, if you go to your control center, if you look for view options, go to annotate, click on that, and then you should be able to see like a draw option or a stamp option. So go ahead and start populating the poll. The question here is, what is your experience with using webinar-based exercises during virtual presentations? So we want to get a sense of what your experience is out there. Are you none? Have you tried it somewhat before? So Rosemary and I were somewhere between none and tried it before today. And then there's comfortable, and then we have, you know, those of you who are testing out the new and latest and greatest. I love it. Lots of colorful, it's coming in quick and fast now, colorful annotations, and you're trying different things. I love it. Drawing and hearts, check marks. Okay. So it looks like, if I'm seeing good circles, that we're in between here. So this is good. So you'll get to see somewhere through the whole gambit and today. Okay, so we still have more people coming in. We have about 52 online. All right, so I think we're good. And so if you're done now, oh, someone's trying to do boxes. Please click on the red X on the corner of your remote control panel so that you stop annotating. And let me see, and I can clean this up before we go on to the next thing. Okay, I have to click the X, and then we're going to transition to Rosemary. So Rosemary, take it away.
Thanks, Juliet. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. The weather doesn't seem very nice out there, but I think our webinar is going to be fun. And I look forward to working with you on this. So the agenda for today is experience some virtual learning engagement approaches. That's what we are going to do, the three of us. And you're going to achieve engagement by going through these exercises that we are going to have with you. As we do that, we also want to tap into your experiences, because from the poll that we just had with Juliet, I noticed many of you are in between. You have tried it or you're comfortable with it. So that makes it easy for us to tap your experiences and share them here with us. So let's jump right into it because we don't have much time. Juliet, please. Thank you. So our first exercise is going to be an icebreaker. I'm sure many of you who have done training before, you've gone to, whether it's in-person training or online training, you may have gone to for a session, and you found that there's a lot of tension in there. People are not comfortable talking to one another. Everybody doesn't know each other, and it's new for everybody. So that's the ice that we are talking about. If you want to break the ice to make people participate in the session, what do you do? So you can do that during the in-person training. That's what I've been used to. But today we're going to try doing this using the virtual training. So an icebreaker exercise. So this is how the activity is about. We're going to be put in groups. So you're going to be 3 people in a group, in a team, and you'll go to breakout rooms. So what you'll do once you're in the breakout room, each one of you will come up with a list of 3 facts about you. So 2 of those facts have to be true, and 1 of them should be untrue. So somebody might say, I don't like lying, or I've never lied before. So please have permission to lie just for now, for this session. After that, no more lying. So 2 truths and 1 lie. So for example, you can say, talk about a pet that you have owned, or one that you own right now, or a famous person you may have met, or a hobby that you love, anything that you feel comfortable sharing with your teammates in the breakout room. Please go ahead and do that. So we're going to break you out into the teams, and then in a few minutes, you'll be told which breakout room you'll be going to. You'll have 3 minutes to discuss that. So each one of you, remember, you come up with 3 facts, 2 truths and 1 untruths. And then your teammates are going to pick which one among the 3 is the lie. You do that for each member in the team. Whoever picks out the most lies that are correct, does that make sense? Whoever picks out the most lies correctly is the winner. So you go among the 3 of you, make sure you choose what the lie is, and whoever picks out the highest number of lies is the winner. And then when we come back after this breakout exercise, the winner is going to go through the debrief with us. I'm going to have people volunteer to debrief. So while you are in there, please feel free to use either the chat, any of the communication tools you're comfortable with while you're in the breakout room. Or just talk, or anything else that you want to use, okay? So you're going to be put into breakout rooms. Oliver, are you ready? So I just saw from the chat that Maureen loves the exercise in the breakout room. I'm glad to hear that. So the idea was for us to experience the breakout room, and I would like somebody to offer, you could, how can I go to the gallery from here?
Oh, you mean to see people?
Yes.
Yeah, so Juliet, if you stop sharing your screen now, then we'll
Okay.
be able to go back to gallery mode. And if you look in your
Sorry.
upper corner there, you'll just be
Okay.
speaker view or gallery mode. If you're seeing gallery mode,
Good.
click on it and you'll see everybody.
Yeah, I see everybody now. So Juliet, can we go to the slide, please? So while you are in there, I would like somebody to volunteer to share your experience from in there. So who would like to go? Let us know from the chat if you'd like to go to share your experience in the breakout room. Remember, one of you was supposed to be a winner, and the winner was to come and share your experiences in here. So who would like to go? Tell us in the chat. Good. Josh, please tell us your experience. You can unmute yourself.
I thought it was, this is Joshua Ehrlich. I'm the Bar Harbor, Maine guy, and presenting in a couple of weeks on mindful leadership, so I hope you join. But I love the Zoom. I didn't know Zoom had a breakout thing, and it was great to meet Anita and CG and share with them. So it really broke down the size of the group very quickly and made it much more intimate and personal. So that was I'd love to learn how to use the feature, so I'm sure you get to that. But thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. Who else wants to go?
I see
Maureen.
Lavette with her hand up.
Okay, go ahead.
Lavette, if you come up.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It was just Danielle and I that were on the call, or in our breakout session. We loved it, and it was a lot of fun. You learn, so there was really no winner. I would guess I guessed hers right. She guessed mine wrong. So maybe I guess I was the winner. But I think just getting to know each other, you know, you start to realize when you do this game that, you know, usually the first thing that you say is the most truthful, because, you know, people, that's the thing that you know. But just getting to know each other, I think it just helped me understand she's got twins, you know, just a little bit about it. We didn't know each other before this. So I think it was just fun to be able to talk. I felt like it cut us off as we were getting to the good part.
That's great. Were you able to use any of the tools in there, like the chat or the whiteboard?
No, find it, and I'm not sure if it was just because I have a tablet, because when we were initially in, you know, in the bigger group, I could see there was a little bit of an identifier, like an icon that I could touch. But when I went into the room, it's not like showing clearly. So I figure I have to start touching the screen and figuring it out. But we just ended up having more of a face-to-face, and it worked out because it was just two of us.
Good. So I can see Alex says that the hardest part is to stop sharing while you're just beginning to learn about people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have enough time to do the sharing like we do right now. I think I'm running out of time. I need to hand over to Juliet. So I'm glad that you had fun. Unfortunately, we have a very large group and we're not able to share your experiences. So we wanted you to feel the engagement while you go in there. You know that when you're presenting online, it might be difficult to engage people, but this is one way you can do that. So I'm glad that it worked out for many of you. So an icebreaker, yes it is. Thanks, Vanessa. It's a good icebreaker. So we'll go on to the next exercise, and I'm handing over to Juliet. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Oh, I love the hearts. Very heartfelt. That's great. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to find my remote control, my control panel here. And let's see, I'm gonna clear this out, and we're sharing. Oh, so I couldn't clear it. So if someone could, I think it's the host that clears the panel, or me. Clear all. Okay. Thanks, whoever did that in the back end. But okay, so we're going on to the next exercise. We're going to do an exercise that's more about group discussion and decision making. We're going to use another tool. We're going to jump out of Zoom for a little, well, we'll stay in Zoom, but we're going to use another platform called Jamboard in order to facilitate this one. But the activity is quite simple, or should be simple. The scenario is, and I'm surprised, like, I guess I never thought we'd say this, but I was saying this now. We are all under lockdown because because of a world pandemic, and we need to be able to use, to engage one another in learning, but we need to agree on which method to use. So we are going to break out into teams, and we gave you 6 options to prioritize. There's e-learning assessment, online discussion, case studies, demo video, e-learning game, and live webinar. So your instructions are to pick your team's top 3 activities. You and your team will determine the criteria and note why you chose them. Select one person to represent your room after the exercise when we come back to debrief. And we'll give you 5 minutes to do this in break rooms before we recall you into the main room. Now, how it's going to work out is that your teams will be assigned to breakout rooms like we did just now. So the teams, I think we'll be about 3 per room, 3 or 4 maybe. Take note, in the top corner of your breakout room, you should note what room you're in. And in a second, I'm going to give you some Jamboard instructions. The link I'm going to populate in the chat also, so that you can go into the Jamboard. So this, can you see the Jamboard? I'll demonstrate it to you first, and then you can go in. So this is what the Jamboard looks like. This is a Google app, or I don't know if it's an app or you know, software, whatever it's called. And this is sticky notes that you can populate. Here's your pen on the left-hand corner side. There's a pen you can write with, an eraser, the select button, and sticky notes. So you can write whatever sticky notes you want on this thing. And I can see you guys just, you know, playing with that and not forgetting to do what you need to do, but enjoy yourself too. But what we need to do here is that if you're in breakout 1, you would be in this room, but if you're in 2, 3, 4, you can move down the row to whatever Jamboard you're in. So if we're in Jamboard 10, breakout room 10, you would go here and start using your board. And this way we can see everyone else's and have discussions around them later. Okay, so I'm going to drop in the link, and you should be able to grab it off of the chat and see if you can get in there. And then Oliver's going to drop you into break rooms. You'll find out what Jamboard you're in if you look at your breakout room. The top left corner should have a number of what breakout room you're in. What else? If anyone is limited, not able to use Google, try to find the other person who does have Google. You can share your video, your screen, and then you can annotate onto it.
So just to clarify, once you go into a breakout room, that will be also the breakout room. You could be on the Jamboard, and you can navigate through that icon right at the top of the screen once you're logged in. And we will also kind of repost in the instructions to everyone again, but essentially just going to take some time using that that tool and organize your top 3 out of those 6 possibles there.
Thanks, Ken.
And so we'll put you into some new breakout rooms and load you in just a moment. So again, once you see the notice come up, unless you're thrown in there, and I always get confused whether you get thrown in automatically or whether you have to do it manually, but we're going to send you all to breakout rooms. Should be 1 through 15, so you can find your breakout on the top, and you should be able to click on that link or block copy it and post it into a browser, and then have both your browser and Zoom open. The room here and join us ever so slowly as they come back in. So got 54 participants or so to rejoin us. So it's going to take a little while for people to pop back into the room. It's always fun to watch people coming in. If you're not in gallery view, jump yourself over to gallery view and you can start to watch all the screens start to populate. It's really quite fun. So yeah, I see a message from Livette. Yeah, we've been using breakout rooms quite a bit here in our chapter meetings, and they're really great for getting that smaller group interaction. So, all right, I think we've got, really almost everybody back here now. So Juliet.
All righty.
Carry away with your debrief.
Ready to start it up again. Thanks everyone for playing along. I learned a lot about how we can interact with this, even newer ways of how we can do this. Let me pop back into the screen. Okay, so if you just general, if you wanted to learn, write in the chat what you learned from this experience, that would be great. What I'm going to do now is bring back the Jamboard also while you're writing in chat, and take a look at what you guys have done. So thanks everyone for participating in this. We got some creative sketches here. Can you see the Jamboard? Just confirming. Yeah. Yeah,
we've got a view of one of the Jamboards there. Breakout room 1, I guess.
Great. Yeah. So I saw some note taking in breakout room 6. Does anyone from breakout room 6 want to give us some feedback on what you thought, what you saw? What was it like?
Sure.
Hi.
Yeah.
This
is Liz again.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
We took notes on this. We figured the easiest way is just to put sticky notes next to the sticky notes, and we had one person scribing and just took notes on what everybody's opinions were. We all kind of agreed that the 3 learning styles or learning experiences that we chose represented all the different as much as we could, represented all the different learning styles to support different types of learners.
Okay, awesome. No, great. I just, there was no right or wrong answer here. It was just a matter of what you guys wanted to choose and getting to know the preference of your style of facilitation, what you're comfortable with your team, right? So these types of things we actually can go for longer if there are deeper discussions that you need to have made. Here I set no criteria, so obviously, you know, it was kind of like a blank slate. You could create whatever scenario and then really dig into this. So thanks for putting your notes in and giving us our points. I hope you felt like it was interactive with your team, that you can have these discussions and actually still see things in real time. So thanks for your feedback, Liz. One more, what I learned from this scenario was there were questions. So I didn't have access to answer people's questions back and forth if I jumped out of break rooms. But what I noticed, someone did have a question. And so I was able to put a sticky note in there as the facilitator or the organizer. I put a sticky note of if I can answer their questions. And they were giving some very valid points. So breakout room 12, thank you very much for asking questions while you're in your situation. So I'm going to jump onto the chat and see what people were saying. So let's see, Jamboard was fun. Many of these activities will work as long as we have breakout rooms and some small group discussions. Some were unable to share the Jamboard with each other. So that's a tough thing. Those are some technical things we can figure out. So Jamboard's not part of Google. It's not. I mean, sorry, it's part of Google, not Zoom. Okay. Well, anyway, so this is a different option. And thanks everyone for your feedback. And I'm going to actually turn it over to Karl now because.
Juliet, before you go,
yeah.
Is this the Jamboard? Is it available just in general to use? Is it free?
So this is free with G Suite. So I have access through it as a package through my website. I think it's a monthly access, like a monthly payment.
So some sort of licensing would be needed. Okay, I was just curious.
But I don't think it was too expensive, the monthly part of it, where I packaged it with my domain name and everything like that. So
do you know if it works with Teams by any chance? I'm just curious.
No, I don't know. This is a good question.
Okay.
I haven't been able to test all of that out. So
okay.
Actually,
can I answer to Liz?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
okay,
sure.
Hi Liz. Jamboree is the version of Whiteboard for the G Suite of Google.
Okay.
And yes, it's available to Teams at Temple University. Professors use this before Zoom start as a brainstorming session. So they
perfect.
put the groups of the students online, and you create with those notes brainstorming for a case study. So it's the whiteboard version of G Suite, but Zoom also has a whiteboard style.
Right, I knew that. I knew Zoom.
Like.
Right, I knew Zoom had it, but I just didn't know with yeah, we use something else for design thinking, but I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
Great, okay, and so we'd like to just keep things moving along here because we could dive into all the particular areas of all these tools, but thank you so much, Juliet. And Karl, you had some things to share with us too here.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks everybody. Very excited to be here and to join in on this presentation. So what I want to do is show kind of a combination of using Poll Everywhere and PowerPoint to kind of tell an interactive story. So I will want you to bring up a browser as we go through this, but you're no longer in kind of a meeting now. You're a game designer at a company called Super Game Corporation. So they're not really very good at naming, but they're called Super Game Corporation, but they've hit on some hard times lately, unfortunately. It's Friday, 4:59. You and your colleague really only have one thing on your mind, and that's pizza and beer. So suddenly your boss comes into your office, and she calls you in, and she says, Ida, Jasmine, come into my office. And so you come running into her office because She wants you to be there, and you say yes. And she says, look, we're going to create a game or something about capturing dragons. So I want you involved with this game. And it appears to be a craze. And the working name of the game is called Dragonmon Go. Again, not the most creative company that ever was out there, but you are going to compete internally for the project. The winning team earns the right to work on the project. Each team is going to be confronted with some questions. The one that answers the most wins. Okay, so what about the other team? Well, they're going to create a game called Watching Paint Dry. Not the most exciting game. Dragon capturing seems to be, much better. Okay, so what I want you to do is let's start breaking into teams and hear about the game. So I want you to type in polev.com into your browser, and that will bring up your browser window, and then you'll choose a Team Moxie or Team Zest. So go ahead and take a moment to type that in there, polev.com/Karl Kapp. And let's pick the teams. So looks like everyone's in pretty much on the same 50. Just to let you know, Zest won this team game last time. So I don't want that to influence you, but that's what happened. All right, looks like, oh, okay, more people are feeling the Moxie than the Zest. All right, no, more people, oh, whoops. Okay, it's going back and forth a little bit on who's on Moxie and who's on Zest. All right, Moxie. Wow, first it was Moxie, then Zest comes out. Okay, so let's see how folks do answering the questions. It looks like somebody might be jumping back and forth. I don't know. So the first decision about this game is how do we start the game? What should the players' first in-game experience be? Should it be telling the players 3 things they need to know about capturing dragons, or should we begin by having them capture dragons right away? So what do you think? 3 things or capturing dragons right away? All right, looks like 3 things. Let's see the responses. 3 things. Some players said let's capture. Oh, so it's almost 50-50. Oh, Zest says no, we need to tell them. Moxie's like, yeah, I don't know. We're kind of split. All right, so let's go ahead. And the answer is we want them to start capturing dragons right away. So does that answer make sense? Not sure. Well, good game designers know that games are engaging because they require action right away. Action draws in the player, encourages further engagement, so we want them to start capturing dragons. Too often when we design instruction, and somebody made a comment about this, is we think about the content and not about the actions. Game designers tend to think about the actions, so we want to think about what actions do we want the learners to do. And in fact, research indicates that learners who use interactive games have greater cognitive gains than folks that are using traditional classroom instruction. So we want the learners to do things, answer questions like in breakouts, make decisions, solve problems, escape rooms, take a quiz, construct a model. So let's answer one more question. So
and Karl, there's lots of folks who are saying that they're not able to see the results of the poll.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So in terms of engagement, you've got everybody, and they're desperate to see the answers. So they were not either seeing them on their browser or on your
okay. So
screen.
So it's up now. Can folks see it now, Ken?
No.
No.
Doesn't look it. Got the graph, but not the. A lot of very anxious dragon capturers.
Yeah,
Ooh, there.
How does that look?
That's better. Yeah.
Everybody can see that?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so we went through the answers, so now let's get to the next answer. Okay, should we provide a map with the location of all the dragons or create a sense of mystery and curiosity about where the dragons might be? Let's see what. So sense of curiosity and mystery, or provide a map? Ah, okay. Moxie's all in on the map. Zest, wow, okay. Different answers. Zest is kind of all in on the sense of mystery. Moxie's 50-50. Moxie's been kind of 50-50 the whole time. Very interesting. All right, and let's take a look at the result. It's always a good idea to build curiosity and mystery into learning and games. So we would want to actually reveal the locations throughout instead of telling the learner where they are at the whole time. And it has to do with curiosity and mystery. And if we create cognitive curiosity, which is invoked by learners believing their knowledge structures are incomplete, then we know from Malcolm Knowles that adult learners learn best when they know they don't know something. So what we want to do is we want to let learners know they don't know something and give them the chance to involve the curiosity. So maybe it's novelty or complexity or inconsistency, those types of things. Now, you might be saying, well, this is great, Karl, but we don't design games and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, so I don't know that this would actually work in my organization. But what you can do is rather than do something like that, you could switch it and you could do something like, for example, an interactive case study. So you might have a physician who is talking to maybe a sales rep or something, and you want to engage in this discussion. You can use those images that you have, and you could provide these kind of interactive case studies. So it allows you to go through that type of information, and you can go on, and you could add that type of information. And the interesting thing to me is I've done kind of experiments where I've asked people questions, and there's one level of engagement, but then when I broke them into teams and had them answer the questions, there was a whole nother level of engagement. So adding something like Poll Everywhere, and there's Umu does this, Kahoots does this, Turning Points does this. A lot of different tools allow you to do that. So that gives you that experience of doing those types of things. And I wanted to share one more, but let me first see, were there any questions about that? Yeah, you can also do Poll Everywhere on your phone, as Alex pointed out, and it allows everything to be in there. Great. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is kind of the future of, I know it's a little fast, Pam, sorry about that. But you can go back and watch the recording and put it on slow. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the PowerPoint, kind of the future of what I think of interactivity. And we saw some really cool things there. And can everyone see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I just want to talk about interactive card games. And this was a game that was developed originally called Zombie Sales Apocalypse. And I took it to some corporations and they're like, Karl, I don't like Zombie Sales Apocalypse. And so we changed it to a customer engagement game. Not quite as exciting, but so the idea of the game is to replace role plays. So if you're doing role plays, you know how there's two people in front of the room and some people pay attention and some people don't. And the people that are involved in a role play are really involved, but other people aren't. So the idea behind this game is you log into something like Zoom, then you would log into this game environment. And what happens is you get kind of a game board. And in the middle of the game board are the scenario cards. And each card has a different scenario on it. The bottom of the screen, nobody can see that but me. There's 8 people, we each only have our cards. And what happens in the game is we get both challenge cards and voting cards. So if somebody does a good answer, we can vote them thumbs up. If they do a bad answer, we vote them thumbs down. Or we could challenge their role play, add something new, rephrase what you're saying, or let me do it, I can do better. So the first person in the game goes. The description here is describe 3 benefits of your product to an uncertain client. The person whose turn it is, pretends they're talking to the client. When they're done, I can say, nah, I don't know, I didn't like that job. I can give them a thumbs down. Whoops, I lost my screen. Let me stop sharing there. Let me start sharing here. And why that came up, I don't know. Okay, so then I can say, describe 3 benefits of your product. The person describes it. If I don't like it, I give them a thumbs down. If I want to challenge them, I click on a challenge card, and now they have to respond to this challenge. So you would have to respond to the challenge. They would have to add something new, and then we would vote again whether or not we liked it. So this is a way that I think is going to happen in the future, is that there's going to be interactive games in these kind of environments that are going to allow us to go from breakout rooms to poll everywhere type things to these types of environments. And I'm really excited about that. And I just wanted to share kind of what I think is a glimpse into the future in terms of what's happening with these games.
And Karl, we got a question from Shannon about what this is called. So I'm not sure exactly what she was referring to there. Maybe Shannon, you can just come off of mute and clarify what particularly you were curious about.
What?
Yeah, not hearing Shannon.
I think the best thing to do is contact me direct. I don't want this to be a commercial, so contact me at karlkapp@gmail.com, and I can give you some more information on that. But let me turn it back over. So that's my allotted time. Thank you very much. And I think one of the things I really think about is how this experience, although we've been forced into it, if you think about webinar tools, they haven't advanced very much in the last 20 years. So this is going to start opening some really interesting elements.
And one other question from Terry. So what's the platform this on? And this obviously is separate from PowerPoint. What's the platform that this game takes place on?
So there was the Poll Everywhere platform, which was the question and answer. And then this platform's on a separate platform. There's a company called Inspire Learning. And basically it's an element where you log on to it, and then it gives you that kind of a card game experience.
And so this is something you've been able to do virtually with folks, in kind of the Zoom world that we're living in now, or?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. We've kind of made that transition. So it's been kind of exciting.
Fantastic. Any other questions for any of our guests today, for Juliet, Rosemary, or Karl? Okay, so as we've been doing, if you type in, by way of exclamation point, some applause, right? So we've been doing exclamation point applause. So if you thought this was good, throw in some exclamation points in the chat so we can let our guests know that we appreciated their presentations today. Awesome, fantastic. And
we did have a last slide comment if we wanted to pop that up.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Rosemary, you wanna just give us our last comments?
Yes, I do. So as you can see, we began off with the other end of, remember the poll that we did with Juliet? We had the other end of, I have never done virtual facilitation before, or I'm extremely comfortable with it. So Juliet and I were at the beginning of that, whatever you want to call it, and Karl was at the other end. You have had both experiences. So if we can do it, you can do it if you haven't done it before. So it's something that you just need to practice, and you'll be fine with it after some time. Practice makes perfect, of course. So keep practicing. Juliet and I will continue practicing as well, and we'll be better next time. Then anticipate technology breakdown, because it can happen. I've been having issues with my technology, and I had told Juliet, just in case I disappear, please make sure you do something to keep the team busy. Also, consider second hand to help you. When you're working together with somebody else, if something goes wrong with your technology, that other person can pick up and continue with the session. So you don't have to lose the people, okay?
So I just wanted to add, thank you so much for our production team, the behind the scenes with Ken and Oliver and Alex, just helping us do the chat and the break rooms. Without them doing our calculations and all that, it's quite a bit to take on. So just as from the chapter's perspective, the Mid-New Jersey chapter's perspective, I think what Rosemary and I did was to spend a lot of time on our platform to just test out these buttons and things together. And I'd like to offer some time, if anyone in the New Jersey chapter members are interested in trying it out, trying the tool, just reach out to us, okay? And then just a list of some of the resources that we were scanning while we were doing all of our research and trying to figure this out. So I just want to thank everyone for being on this call. I hope you learned something, and even if, see where when we see technical glitches, we learn from them, but you can do it better. So thanks, everyone.
And Juliet, maybe you can, if you can, just grab those and put those in the chat. I mean, we can send them out via email again, but it would be awesome to have those in the chat. And then if you'd like to save the chat for yourself, if you have the chat window open, you can go to the bottom and you should see a little 3 dots there, and underneath those 3 dots should be an option to save the chat, so you can actually save all the comments. And so there are resources, Karl's email, etc., that you wanted to grab. You can put that in there as well. So I just wanted to close with some things that are happening. We've got our regional partners who have 2 webinars coming up, both on May 1st and May 27th. So the Science of Immersive Learning on the 1st, and Smart Choices for Smart Choices for Digital Delivery on the 27th. And you can get to those via the chapter website. And also we have coming up within our chapter, May 6th, the Technology SIG has their session on the essentials of question writing and reviewing. As someone who does a lot of surveys myself, I'm going to be really interested in that session. Next week, selecting the best web conferencing tool for your audience. There are all these tools out. And so Nick Floro is going to give us a chance to take a look at all of those. I'm looking forward to that session. And then on May 14th, we have Joshua Ehrlich, who's with us today, doing a session on mindfulness. So lots coming up. Make sure you're here Thursdays for our weekly webinars. It's been awesome seeing all of you guys. Thank you so much for your attendance, and we'll be letting you know about the recording of all of this in just a little while. So thank you all, and let's give our representatives one last little round of exclamation point applause. You can throw that into the chat there. All right.